One. Okay. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to RVing in New England. It's Wednesday night, and we've got terrific guests tonight. Howard and Linda Payne. We haven't seen them for a while with RV Dreams.
Time out.
What?
Time out. Now, you have a new co-host. Does that mean I'm history? Are you telling me that I'm no longer welcome here?
I'm grooming my grandson, Bobby, and if he does a really good job, DePietro, you're out of a job.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the first time. We'll have this on YouTube tomorrow.
That's right.
So you can see that there's age discrimination. I'm being pushed off the show for a 6-year-old.
But like, what I'm talking about is, will we be able to watch it
Tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. Okay, so
we do have some guests here.
This is going to be interesting. All right, Howard and Linda, we haven't seen you for a while. You started RV Dreams in 2000. I'm going to let you, actually, you give us, here goes DePietro. See, DePietro's Italian. He does everything with his hands.
See, Zagami, you think that everybody knows who they are. You didn't introduce them. You didn't say where they're from. You didn't say how we know them.
I didn't.
You didn't say that they've been full-timers for 15 years.
You didn't say that to me either.
So why don't we do this?
Why don't you do that?
I'll just take over the show. You go babysit. Howard and Linda Payne are our guests tonight. They come all the way from they're in a stick house.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's not really sticks, it's bricks. Right?
Whatever.
No wood in Florida. But we've known them for several years. We had them up here at the Boston RV show a number of years ago. And they have been full-timing since 2005. Howard is a recovering lawyer, and Linda has done a million other things in her life. But tell us where you were 15 years ago when you were beginning this adventure, and then we'll segue into now.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. Not 15 years ago now, we had just put our house on the market and turned in resignations at work. So in 2000,
what did that feel like?
Scary.
Resignation.
Very scary. Very scary.
Very scary.
Do we really know what we're doing here?
Yeah.
No, we had no idea.
Yeah, we gave 6 months notice, and so for the first 3 months, it was second thoughts pretty much every day.
Second thoughts.
Can I say so?
Okay.
Yeah.
So you hit the road. Tell us what you bought and where you went, and did you have any plan? Did you have, Howard? I know that if you were an accountant or a chemist or a physicist or an engineer, you would have every mile mapped out. Did you do that, or did you kind of like freelance?
We freelanced. We didn't know what we were doing, and we bought a Keystone Cambridge 39-foot fifth wheel with 4 slides and an F450 pickup truck, 2005, and we headed out in August of 2005 and just started south. We made reservations our first 2 stops, but canceled them. And we've been freewheeling it ever since.
Okay, so you say you headed south. South from where?
From Kentucky. We're from Louisville, Kentucky. Yep. And so we headed south to Alabama, and our plan was to go to Quartzsite for the winter, but we got sidetracked and decided to head to Florida, and we got caught in Hurricane Katrina in Alabama.
on the way to Florida, or the way from Florida?
On the way to Florida.
Yeah.
That's a good introduction to the RV lifestyle. Let me recognize some of our early arrivals. Jason Cole is checking in from the Bonsider in Albany.
So it must be a cheap bar.
He's out of town tonight, but that's his favorite bar in Albany. So Jason is the former state director for the Rhode Island Good Sam. Let's see.
Walter Swenson.
Walter Swenson. John has been demoted. Attaboy. All right.
John has been demoted.
Ronnie Lieberg is on with Bradford RV. And Ronnie, I don't understand those last 3 weeks. Ronnie just took back-to-back cruises. I know a lot of people go on cruises, but Ronnie did back-to-back cruises. He went on one ship, and then they came back to Miami and jumped on another one. So that must have been an interesting one.
No, he He might have been quarantined and they wouldn't let him back.
Yeah. Lola and Rush Songer. I think they're
Hey, Lola and Rush. Hi!
members of the RV Dreams fan club, I guess.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. Jim Convoy's on. Hi, guys. I love Bob's assistant. So Jim loves having you here. See? Say hi to Jim.
That's a photo of our fifth wheel in front of the house that we sold in Louisville.
There you go.
That was your first one. So
Yes.
go ahead, Bob. If you want to go with the rest of those people, you want to get to them in a minute.
That's good, Sam, Joe and Rhonda Cabosa. Todd Emerson is on from Longview RV. Hello, Todd. And Todd's resting up. He just had an incredible Springfield RV show, and they did gangbusters out there. Audrey Foley Egan is on. Hello, Audrey. Audrey's a fun time. Now, I know why Audrey's on. She wants to do what you guys have done for the last 15 years. She wants to go so badly. She's got a nice motor home. She has a group of 8, 10, 12 people, and she's the, I guess you call it the rally master. So maybe you can convince her to go down to Tennessee. And then Riley says the same ship. Oh,
So say that faster.
I don't know.
Same ship. Oh, okay.
So they must have gone one cruise one way, came back and picked up some more passengers and went the other way.
Bob, I just figured out something.
What's that?
It is very profound. I just realized where the term "same ship, different day" came from.
Just there?
Rainy. Same ship, different day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's way above you guys.
Stick to your day job, will you?
Yep. Same ship. Hello from Seekonk.
On from Seekonk, Massachusetts. So thank you everyone for joining us.
Okay, let's get back to the intelligent question I'm asking
for these guys.
Okay, so here's my question. That's a 39 footer, you said?
Yes.
Sit down.
Okay. Have you guys ever driven a towable like that before?
No.
Never.
No.
It was intimidating.
So you went straight from the courtroom to the driver's seat.
Correct.
And I'm guessing that you don't have a pretty good sense of directions when courtside is in Arizona and you ended up in Florida. So when you say freelance, that you sure as heck freelance.
That's what we do.
You only missed it not by a state or a region. You missed it by a country.
My sister met a man and she got engaged, so we had to turn and go to Florida for that.
Isn't that part of the spontaneity of being full time? Is you wake up in the morning?
That's correct. Your plans are written in Jell-O.
Yeah.
The what?
So now you're stuck in Katrina. And did you ever look at each other and say, let's just turn back and head up I-65 back up to Kentucky? And
no chance.
Never.
No chance.
No.
So you burned all trails behind you.
Correct.
Yeah, burn those ships. That's what the phrase is. Burn those ships. No turning back.
Explain the workings of RV Dreams, because I think we were the first ones that got you up on the seminar stage when you came to Boston that really cold winter. You guys were freezing up here in January when we were over at the World Trade Center. We brought you up to some seminars.
And if it wasn't your first event,
yeah, it was our first time on a subway. We kept saying we're rednecks in a subway and we have no idea what we're doing.
And if it wasn't your first time on stage, it sure as hell looked it. Only kidding.
Okay.
So we started our website and we quit at 41 and knew that we were going to have to keep some expenses down and earn some money. And we started our website hoping that eventually it would pay our way. So, we just started writing and including information and just, we thought we'd check out and see if people were interested in full-timing. And because we were young, because we didn't have a paycheck, and we started keeping track of every penny that we spent, we started getting some attraction. And one thing led to another, and we came to Boston, and then we've been doing RV seminars, and we grew into doing our own, and it's just grown over time. And who knew?
Okay.
So I always include you guys in my seminars at the shows. I put up a slide for tell people that if they're going to think about going full time, usually in a fifth wheel, but we'll talk about your conversion to a motorhome recently. But that, I always tell the joke about your budgets and how detailed you are on the budgets. And I think I'm sure this goes back to the night that we had dinner at Morton's, and I think Linda said something to the effect that if Howard goes up to a Coke machine and buys a Coke, it's on the spreadsheet tomorrow morning. He's that
Absolutely.
he is that detailed. And I think two things that were interesting about your life in this business was, number one, you shared everything with your fans and your viewers. So, if you had extra expenses, you shared that. If you had medical emergencies, you shared that. You give them your budget for the whole year. You put out an analysis at the end of the year and how you did against the budget. But I think one of the best kept secrets of your show, or not the show, but of what you did through the years, is because you guys are so detailed, Howard would all of a sudden put out a detailed report, never mind the daily journal and stuff, but if he came upon a problem, then he had to investigate it so much that he would generate a report. And the one that I've kept is the one that you did on the BA when your dad was ill.
Oh, yeah.
And you went through all the options. I got more information out of Howard's report, and I'm a disabled vet, but I don't talk about that. But I got more information out of Howard's report, and it's in my important folder, than I do out of the BA. But then you did the other one when you were trying to sell your father's house and all the stuff that you had to go through and the things that you did. Talk a little bit about those special reports. I assume they're probably still up on the website, but you just cataloged so much information for people. It was
This
just
is a Howard Dean special report. Wait, before you do that, Bob, I specifically remember the night at Morton's because we, them being from Kentucky, we had to show them how to use a knife and fork to eat. But I will agree that what Bob just said, your website, Bob, can you punch up what their website is there so that people can see? Because it's rv-dreams, right? .com or .net?
rv-dreams.com, yeah.
Okay, rvdreams.com. The interesting part about that website, it's really, it's not like, okay, this is us at Niagara Falls. This is us at Cape Cod. This is us, in Myrtle Beach. It really is education.
Yeah, we did some of that too, John, but it was full timing is about daily life.
Right.
The exciting stuff, the mundane stuff, and just what happens in people's lives. And that's where those reports came from, Bob. It's just things that we had to go through that we felt like other people in our situation were going to be going through. So,
and I think you said in one of your, I think you said in one of your pages on the website, this is not a permanent vacation. This is daily life.
Right.
Right. You say that all the time. Yes.
And I think that's important to point out to people because they figure, well, once I retire, I can do whatever I want. And then one step beyond retiring is I can do whatever I want, whenever I want, with no consequences at all, if I take off in an RV. Farthest from the truth, right?
Right. For most people.
Right.
There are some that are extremely wealthy out there that can do that.
Yeah.
But most of us have to watch our numbers.
Yeah.
And if you treat it like a permanent vacation, 365 days a year, it gets really, really expensive. So we have to pick and choose, and I have what I call my value meter. And there are just certain things that we can't do because we don't have the money, and we have to decide which items for us have the most value. And we ended up doing a lot of free stuff in our traveling.
Bobby, do you have a question for Howard and Linda?
No.
No?
No.
Oh, for
Bobby wants to know where the Jack Daniels.
Bobby's got a question for John.
Okay, Bobby, go ahead.
Know when he can have your seat. What do you want?
Bobby.
Like, how expensive is usually an RV?
How
Go ahead.
expensive is what?
An
How
RV.
expensive is an RV?
Well, they can be quite expensive.
That's theirs.
There are $1 million RVs, and there are RVs that are just a couple of $1,000s. It's a big, wide range.
Let me catch up on where did I leave off here.
Oh yeah,
Ed Herbert's on. Ed and Debbie were our guests a couple of what last week.
Last week, yep.
They have the website Facebook page
RV Tips,
and they are up to close to 8,000 views on the on that show.
Yep.
Riney, same ship. Donna Richardson, hello from Steaconk, Mass. Walter Swenson. There are people who live full time on cruise ships. Well, that's good.
They are.
Doug Turner.
Yep.
I followed Howard and Linda for a long time. They are awesome. That one,
Thanks, Doug.
that one deserves a little showcase on the screen. Nick Wright. Evening, Nick.
Nick is our guy from Unlimited.
Tennessee to Connecticut today.
Yep.
He's got a big sale going on down there with several of the units, and I'll be posting his stuff this week. The RVers, and I'm going to assume that is Anthony Nally, who I just met this week today.
Is that Anthony? Well, let's ask him. Anthony, or wait a minute. Wait.
What?
Bob, I've been trying to do this my whole life, and now the chance is finally here. You ready?
Yeah.
Anthony,
that's the
Anthony.
That's the Prince Spaghetti commercial.
It's Prince Spaghetti Day.
Hanging out the window in the North End, calling little Anthony to come running through the streets of the North End to come home for his pasta.
It's Prince Spaghetti Day. Come home.
Prince Spaghetti.
And Barbara Smith, hello, Barbara.
Let's see if it's him. Howard and Linda have shared great info. Boy, you really stacked this with people you know that are saying nice things about you. Hi, guys. I went to the Springfield RV show. Huge turnout at the show. Right, John.
41,000 people at the Springfield show this weekend. They ran 4 days from Friday to Monday. Yeah. Anthony Nally says here. Okay.
It is Anthony.
The RVers show, by the way, if you haven't found it yet, have you guys, Howard and Linda, have you had a chance to see the show yet?
No, we haven't.
It's on Discovery Channel.
Great friends on there, but we haven't seen it.
Discovery and PBS.
PBS.
And it's on the Rocos and the YouTubes and what have you. But I'll send you a link to it to watch it. So hopefully we're going to get Anthony on the show here in a few weeks to talk about it. Okay.
Bob, we should, since John Sinise brought up the Springfield RV show, something happened there that's never happened in all the years we've been doing this. Zagami and I almost got thrown out of the show.
How? What did we do? Oh yeah, we did. That's right. We did.
We almost got thrown out of it. We came in early and there was nobody at the door. And one of the security guys saw us, even though we were going over to the office to get our credentials. Hey, you guys, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? Hey, Bobby.
What?
Right next to that computer, is there a little glass with some stuff in it? Does your grandpa have his glass? Oh, what are you drinking tonight?
I'm drinking water tonight.
Bobby, take a sip of your grandpa's.
Too, Bobby.
We don't
Take
do that.
Take a sip of grandpa's stuff. No. So where were we? Oh, yeah. Hi, guys, from Conway, New Hampshire. Thank you for the great information you share. We love you, Jerry. Jerry.
So
Who's
Jerry down with Major's RV down in Cape Cod. That's the biggest service center in the Northeast and the most trained technicians. And if you ever want service in the Northeast, you go to
wait a minute.
Major's RV.
Wow.
He says, first I lose my top fan designation.
And now I get skipped over in the
roll call. That's true.
Oh, okay. So Anthony likes Jerry.
Yeah. So
he obviously hasn't met him yet.
Look at this picture.
Okay.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Go back there.
By the way, Anthony, this is not our regular show. We're usually much more scripted than this.
We are not.
Yeah, right. Oh, should we do our commercial while you get your act together up there?
That's probably not a bad idea.
I want to do a commercial with you guys.
By the way, folks, in case you've just joined us, the people that we aren't speaking to are our special guests tonight, Howard and Linda Payne, full-time RVers for 15 years who have put square wheels on their RV, and they only go out every few months.
Wait,
we do want to thank you other folks that are spending time on your Wednesday night to watch our show live and really are the main part of the show. It's the only show in America where the studio audience kind of controls the show along with grandchildren. However, what we do want to ask you to do is just take time somewhere on your screen whether you're watching on a phone, whether you're watching on a tablet, whether you're watching on a desktop, you'll see a little button that says share. Just share this with other people. It's the way we're able to reach tens of thousands of people per week and make us one of the most popular shows in the United States, but also the most unique show, as tonight is certainly proving to be.
It is unique. I'll give you that.
It is unique. Next week, I'm bringing my grandson, and we're doing the show, and the Zagamis are out.
Yeah, we're out.
Okay. Now look at Rhonda is talking. They're even talking to Bobby now. They're not even talking to us.
Right.
Bob.
Rhonda says hello, Bobby.
Okay.
That's
No,
one of our-
Jerry wants to know, and this is pertinent.
Rhonda.
I always ask full timers if they have an exit plan, and just so happens that you have an answer to that question.
This guy's so detailed. He had the exit plan the day he entered.
That's true.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't.
Tell us how you got to that point.
Well, as far as we knew, we were going to be in our RV indefinitely when we started. We had no plan at all other than to have a certain amount of money in the bank. And if we dropped below that, we were going to stop and get jobs until we could move on again. But our plan was pretty much to park our fifth wheel somewhere in an RV park in the South and just live out our lives there when we were unable to travel anymore. And it just, things changed in our lives as they do with many RVers, and circumstances changed. We ended up with my parents' house, which we didn't expect to have, sold it. And so then we bought property, investment property in the villages of Florida, and that became our exit plan. But it wasn't on the radar until just a few years ago.
So when you parked your RV down south, if it had a leak, were you going to put a blue tarp over it, or were you going to get it fixed?
We'd get it fixed.
Okay. Because I think if you go down to Mississippi, I mean, I went down to Mississippi a few years ago, right after a hurricane. And man, maybe it's not fair. There were more blue tarps than I've ever seen anywhere in my life. And, you know, my money says they're probably still there, but they're like faded a little bit now.
Hey, we got another member of the fan club, Jeannie Hoyle. Says,
Oh,
hi
yeah.
there.
Hi, Jeannie.
Hey there, Howard and Linda. Donna
We
Richardson.
work camped with Jeannie.
You did what?
Her husband. We work camped with Jeannie and her husband.
Now talk about work camping, because we're going unscripted. So our audience, again, they determine the thing. A lot of people have heard of it, but tell us, and even the Hulberts last week work camp every year. Tell us what your work camping experience was.
Before you do that, I want to jump in. I don't want to lose this one. Doug Turner says, Howard and Linda, any thoughts about selling your RV? Tell them what your transition was. If you're thinking about the fifth wheel that I just had up there, it's too late. So tell them how you transitioned to the motorhome, and then we'll get to the work camper.
Okay.
Yeah. Once we purchased the investment property in Florida, and we knew that was going to be our exit plan, then we knew we weren't going to live in the RV, the fifth wheel. So after 13 years on the road, we decided to sell the fifth wheel and truck, and we downsized to a Class C motorhome, and to try that out for a while and to be a little more nimble in our travels and to take it to Alaska. So we just downsized, and now we still have that one. We did 5 months in Canada and Alaska last summer, and we just got off the road in December, but we still have our RV, and we will be taking it out for several weeks at a time each year.
But we are planning to rent it out to people that are interested in trying RVing. So we are planning to do that, to let people rent it.
The motorhome.
Yes.
So would you be doing that through something like RV Share or Outdoorsy, through a peer-to-peer network?
I've looked into that in detail, and I would prefer to rent it within our network and your network, and I'd rather not do it on those platforms unless we absolutely have to.
No, you gotta, that's a good idea about doing it through the network. You've got such a good group of people out there,
Yes.
and you know who most of them are. We also have another member of your fan club. We appreciate you guys shared this beforehand. We appreciate that. We love it
Yes.
when people Eileen Fiore.
Yes. Hi, Eileen.
Donna's got a little bit more serious question. Which would you like better, a fifth wheeler or a Class C?
Hey, wait a minute. We didn't get into work camping.
Oh, all right. Donna, I'm going to put Donna on hold. Let's talk work camping.
See,
Okay.
I'm being phased out while I'm still here.
Okay, so work camping.
Terrible.
You've heard of gone but not forgotten. I'm forgotten but not gone.
Yeah.
Oh, look how young we were. Oh, we were so young.
That's the second time you've used the word young, and you still look young. So
Thank
did
you.
you,
Hold on.
We were
start right
41
out of
in that
high school?
picture.
Huh?
Time out. Do you guys still dress alike?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
When you go square dancing, right?
No.
Or bowling?
When we're doing RV shows, so we have the same logo shirts, so we can write them off.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, but different color.
They're not even old enough to go for the free ice cream socials at the FMCA rallies.
Right.
They haven't even reached. They haven't come close to that age yet.
Yeah, you got to be 80.
Okay.
80.
We're talking about
Inside
work
joke
camping
there.
or fifth wheel versus motorhome. What are we
Inside
talking?
joke, right, Bob?
Work campers.
Work camping.
Okay.
Go.
All right.
Yeah, go back to that.
Like I said, we started when we were 41. We had no steady paycheck. We had some savings, but we needed to keep expenses low or earn some money. So we knew we were going to have to work on the road. And work camper news matches RVers with jobs. So we got a job, and that's a picture of our first one, driving a nature tram in the Santa Ana National Wildlife Refuge in South Texas.
Oh, you got to drive a tram?
We drove a
Yes.
tram, and we did interpretive work in South Texas. And then after that, we worked at another wildlife refuge. And eventually we've worked at 2 national parks in, I think, nine different positions over the years.
What
Some
parks were there?
volunteer for a campsite, and some included paychecks, and just did whatever we needed to do on the road.
Were they the big parks, Yellowstone or Grand Canyon?
Arches and Acadia.
Okay. Oh, up in Maine.
Yes.
Oh, is that when we saw you guys? You were there coming back and
When
forth.
we were coming back from there. Yeah, that
Oh, okay.
You're coming back. Yeah.
Okay.
that fall.
Now, interesting. We've had a couple people comment saying, Audrey Foley Egan, your idol. I mean, who idolizes you? I'd be afraid to rent to strangers. And Doug Turner says, I'd be afraid of renting my motorhome too. We love our rig too much. Discuss those comments.
Okay. Well, certainly as full-timers, that wasn't happening.
Yeah, I wouldn't let anybody have my home. But
Yeah.
now that I have a home, it's a little less
house.
important, or I have a house, it's a little less important. But we would actually be training the people who would rent it. So I would feel comfortable with, us showing someone how to drive and perform everything in the RV, that it would make me feel okay.
And that's another reason we're wanting to rent in our network, and we have full control over the vetting, and we can just rent to who we think will take good care of it.
So what if you had 10 college kids from the nearby University of Florida that wanted to go up to Clemson for a game?
No.
We would say no.
Well, maybe what
immediately
if they wanted to go to spring break?
No.
No. What if they were going to go to spring break and said you guys could come with us?
No.
Howard?
Nope.
No, Howard. I thought I
so-
could get him to disagree.
Right. So
I'm not stupid, John.
Huh?
So 15 years on the road, if somebody said to you, you could only go back to one place
Oh my
that you've
God.
been, which location, park or state or resort, which one sticks out for you?
Wow. Such a hard question. I mean, we get asked all the time our favorite places, and
Well, then you should have the answer ready by now.
well, the one spot, Utah. That's what we
Yeah,
answer.
we usually just say Utah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5 national parks, beautiful public land out there, great for boondocking, great for hiking.
Look what I drew.
It's really pretty.
Okay. So Utah. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't done that yet. Yeah.
Now, along those same lines, what is the place that you went to with high expectations and it turned out to be totally different, either better or lower than what you thought you were going to see?
Wow. That's a tough one. Oh, Linda?
That's why they have me
She's
answer
thinking.
questions.
Mesa Verde.
Yeah, Mesa Verde National Park is an incredible place, but it was extremely busy and extremely crowded, and everybody was kind of rushing. So we had been to some other monuments like that. They were more laid back and had more of a spiritual feel to them. So Linda's right. Mesa Verde it didn't quite meet our expectations because it was so busy and they were shuffling people through on tours, several groups at a time. So there were a couple of disappointments like that. It's still amazing though.
Okay. What place would you never go back to? No matter what. We ain't going back there.
Pretty much, as far as RVs go, pretty much any large city.
How many trips did it take you to figure that out, Howard?
We've never been large city people, but we went to West Palm Beach, Florida. We had some readers that offered their site down there, and that was an eye opener. That's a place where we did not feel secure. One of the few places we never felt secure.
In West Palm.
Yeah.
That's very surprising. I'm sure their Chamber of Commerce will not like to hear that.
They won't. But you know us. We tell you like it is.
Well, you only stayed 2 weeks instead of 3, right?
But I'm looking at them.
Okay. So what else I got to never go back to? Okay.
Steve Giano says, how did you find your work camping opportunities?
Starting out, it was through Work Camper News, workcamper.com. And, when I found them, when we were doing our research and just realized that there's a website that matches RVers with jobs, I just felt such a sense of relief. Just knowing that there were companies out there looking for RVers. And we didn't need to make a fortune. We just, needed to save on some expenses, a small paycheck here and there because we were keeping our expenses down. And so that's one of the places. The other is volunteer.gov. If you look at volunteer.gov and you do a search for volunteer positions, there's a drop down on amenities where you can look for housing, and you can choose RV sites or pads. And at any particular time, there are 400 or so volunteer jobs on volunteer.gov that come with RV pads.
Wow. We'll make sure to put that link down below for everybody later.
Volunteer.gov.
That's interesting.
So what would you do? Like work at an Army Corps of Engineers or something like that? Or
Well, we actually got our job in Acadia through that, didn't we?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So when we were at Acadia, they had advertised a position to help count migrating seabirds. So for 2 months.
Oh, that's right. I remember that. And
Yes.
you go out on those rocks every day and count birds. Right. I remember that.
Right.
We counted birds every day.
yeah. And I heard those birds were over there saying, "Look at these people waving to us." Now I'm guessing that Audrey Foley Egan would love. I bet you she's already looking at volunteer.gov to find a place because Bob, we got to have them on in a couple weeks, in a few weeks.
We got to find out what their summer program is.
We know this couple up here that every weekend from April to just about Halloween, they head out and they just don't go one town away. 1 week they'll go to Myrtle Beach. 1 week they'll go to the Outer Banks. 1 week they'll go to way up in northern Maine. 1 week they'll go, every year they go right outside of New York City over in New Jersey, just across the way.
I was thinking, Anthony Nally from the RVers is on with us tonight. And Audrey, I'm not sure if you're on at the beginning there, but if you let me know if you've seen the RVers television show. But Anthony, Audrey may be, I don't know how far ahead you book your segments, but that might be an interesting segment. I know you were just down at the R Village annual event, but a segment with Audrey and her gang of 8 or 10 and how they plan everything at the beginning of the summer. They know the campgrounds they're going to. They get it down to a point where they know the meals they're going to have and who's going to cook them and who's going out. It might be an interesting segment for the RVers. Sooner or later, Audrey will make it famous.
Or a segment of them at a Jimmy Buffett concert.
Well, that was going back to where you would not rent your RV to somebody else.
Right, but she is a Jimmy Buffett
So am I.
fanatic.
Well, I don't go.
Okay. Lola and I remember while y'all must mean you guys, right? Is she one of them Kentucky people?
They're North Carolina people.
They're North Carolina.
Okay. Lola and I remember while y'all were there, Howard flew back home to Kentucky, and Linda
And
Lola and I
assisted
assisted Linda.
Yeah. That was in Acadia.
Yeah.
Where we were
Well,
counting
remember-
birds. They helped us.
What would you like to say to our guests?
Like and subscribe.
I don't know what that was. I don't know what that was. Frank Gates says, Frank Cates, have you a favorite camp? Well, we already, in Cape Cod. Have you guys been to Cape Cod?
I've been to Cape
We've
Cod.
never not been to Cape Cod with the RV.
Not at all. Okay.
Okay. Now, Anthony Nally said, I really love Phoenix and would return in any RV at any time. I'm presuming, Anthony, you're not talking about June, July, or August, where you'd go to Phoenix. See if he comments on
I
that.
don't know.
Do you guys get to Phoenix at all in the winter?
He says he's more of a Led Zeppelin and Van Halen fan. That must mean he's younger than us, John, and younger than you, Audrey.
Yeah, he said he's 59.
And Van Halen.
Led Zeppelin and Van Halen. Okay. So did you guys get to Phoenix at all at any time during the years? In those
Sure.
years?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. We stayed in Tucson. We stayed at Benson, which is east of Tucson. And we stayed with some folks on Boondockers Welcome in Surprise, Arizona,
Which is right outside of
just
Phoenix.
outside of Phoenix.
Interesting. So Nick Wright, who owns Unlimited RV, he's got locations in Connecticut and Tennessee, says, turns out we will advertise some of our open seasonal jobs on the sites mentioned that you just said. Thanks, full-time RVers would be perfect in both our locations for the rental side. Do customer orientations and prep. That's so true. You really can't just hire anybody to show how to use an RV.
Correct.
I'm sure everybody would agree that an existing RVer who knows everything would be the perfect person to, show the new people how to use all the good stuff.
Absolutely.
And to remember to, before you pull any of those levers, to always make sure that hose is attached to somewhere on the ground.
Yeah.
Right.
We've considered talking to a couple of the dealerships down here in our area around the villages and doing just that. Just doing walkthroughs for new buyers.
Mhm.
Yep. It's big back. Bobby's got a question now for Howard.
Bobby.
Go ahead.
Can you live in an RV?
Yes.
Yes.
We lived in our RV for 15 years.
Bobby, twice as long as you've been alive.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
So they're 8.
That was their RV right there.
Yeah. There you go.
You want to do your commercial, John?
Yeah, sure. Sure, exactly. So it's that 40-minute past the hour mark. And we usually have sometimes a new group of people that join us around this time. And we want to thank you for spending time with us. And more than that, want to thank you for all the questions that you asked. And more than that, want to thank you for sharing this page with other RVers throughout the country, throughout North America, Mexico, the whole 9 yards. And the only reason we can continue to grab the number of people that we have every week that watch the show, but more importantly, watch the show participate in the show. And you guys can see the number of people that comment and respond to this. So thank you so much, folks. And Bob, you're next.
Okay, we got some Scussit. Ed Hilbert loves Yosemite. And Nick says he lived in Arizona for my early racing career and military. Loved it. Hey, Nick, what'd you think of that recovery with Ryan Newman walking out of that hospital today?
No way.
He walked out of the hospital. He's out of the hospital. They posted a picture of him walking out with his 2 daughters, and he's out of the hospital after that horrific accident during the Daytona 500. Just a pure miracle.
Did you guys get to any NASCAR events when you were on the road, you guys?
No, we did not.
No. Okay. Well, we should say that from now through mid-November, right around Thanksgiving, every weekend, I think there's 2 weekends, Easter Sunday and Mother's Day are the only 2 weekends. Right. The largest RV park in the United States is at the event where the NASCAR circuit is running that weekend. And I've been to Charlotte, I've been to Talladega, I've been to Dover, and we got to hit the road again this year and do a couple NASCAR events. But we were talking, what happened?
Nothing. You there?
I just died. I just came out of that.
You got you?
Nope, there we go.
We did go to a Final Four in New Orleans in 2012.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I'm going to be writing about that too.
Yep. But, we were discussing the fact that the best way to see a race is in your RV. And in many of these major tracks like Daytona, you can park your car and your RV right in the infield. And it's just pretty cool to do. We had that opportunity in Talladega. So anybody who is thinking of heading out to the RV circuit, to the NASCAR circuit this year. By the way, if you just call Sherry Fuller at Fuller RV Rental, they have those magnetic NASCAR schedules. So call Fuller RV and maybe she'll put one in the envelope for you. We got a question. Howard and Linda helped us learn how to boondock or dry camp at one of their boondocking rallies. 5 days of dry camping and also a haircut. What's going on with that?
Haircuts by the girls. I'm not.
That was at the boondocking rally where I shaved my head.
Just a quick question. What? Do any of you like Minecraft?
No, they were not going to talk about Minecraft tonight. Not going to do that. What about? Let's talk about your rally before we get too late in here, because one of the things that you didn't start those originally. When did you start the rallies, and how successful have they been? And you got one coming up in a few months here.
We went on the road in 2005, and we did our first rally in 2008. And then 2011, we started doing 2 a year. So we did 2 a year for a while. So we're up to like 19 of these events that we put on.
19.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that many.
So no, the one in April, in a couple of months, is there any space left for that for any of our people that want to attend?
We have about a dozen RV sites left, and they will probably go pretty quickly. And about 20 to 30% of the people who attend our rallies don't have RVs and stay on site in local accommodations or at nearby hotels. So even
these people
RV
that
sites
don't have units, they eventually buy one or they run away from you.
Either or. That's why they're there. They're there to learn. For some people, it's not for them. And I would say most of them maybe move up their timeline a little more. Okay.
And I want to ask you along that same question. For people out there that, just like you guys were 15 years ago, that are sitting on the fence, either about buying an RV or doing what you did, what is your advice to them today, 15 years after you made that initial decision?
It was the best decision we ever made.
Yeah.
No regrets
still thinking.
whatsoever.
Howard's still thinking how to answer that.
Yeah,
I am. That's 15 years of our lives. You also have to understand, we were 41. We had no paychecks. So you have to be prepared. And we would only do it at that age if we were completely debt free. So our advice is, unless you have a fixed income that you can rely on, if you go debt free.
A lot easier, a lot less mental anguish, right?
So along those same lines, talk about the products. And we didn't bring you on to sell stuff, but you've got some valuable information on your website as far as the worksheets. And what do you have on the website that's scrolling on the bottom that people should look for if they're contemplating just getting out on the road and going for it?
Well, certainly coming to one of our rallies. I mean, I wish we had something like that when we started. There was Life on Wheels, was one that was done at a few venues across the country, and we actually were speakers of that. We taught a class at that at one point.
That was Gaylord Maxwell.
Gaylord Maxwell's right. And so we kind of geared our rallies somewhat like that, but we wanted to make some changes, and we thought that we could do it better. So we have 16 to 18 hours of seminars a week, and it's a pretty intense rally for those who are interested in full timing.
I mean, I went through the list, and there's some pretty there's some hard questions that you have to ask yourself. Like, what does it cost?
Right.
Is it for everybody? And I'm sure everybody, even people that are watching, would agree that it's not for everyone to be able to do that.
No.
Yeah, that's one of the first things we say. It's not for everybody. And we talk a little bit about the actually personality types that it might be right for, and there are certain personality types it's not right for.
Yep.
I don't know. I'll tell you
Of
later.
course, now, 15 years later, with the advances in technology, a lot more people can hit the road today than they could then.
Yes.
Again, depending upon what their career was, that don't need to be face to face with an audience. It might be difficult for a lawyer, but you know what? If it was.
That's a good point, though, because when you started 15 years ago, we didn't have the internet. You
Right.
didn't have Facebook. You didn't have social media to the point that we have it today. So you kind of grew into these and had to learn them as you go along, which, given the RV lifestyle, that's probably one of the most important things. Would you agree that you have to be very flexible and willing to always learn something different?
Do you want to come teach at our seminar?
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
We talk about flexibility
Okay.
and positive attitude.
John
really
and I do a
important.
great tag team webinar, seminar.
And you know what? You bring up another point. One spouse may have the personality for it, and one may not. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, we were just on the phone.
That's not very good to talk about our guest.
No, our friend. No, but like Janine Pettit, our friend from Girl Camper, she hit the road by herself because her husband, who she loves and she's been married with for, 25 years or 30 years or something like that.
Right.
He is just not a social person. So he said, go. Then lock the door right behind her. No. Yeah. But she does her thing, and she's developed a national following with other women like her that are not necessarily single or divorced or widowed or whatever, but married women that hit the road without their husband because husband doesn't want to go.
Yeah.
So,
well,
Steve,
and if they can work that out, that's actually a better situation.
Right.
The first situation is when couples go, one of them's really gung-ho about it, and the other one doesn't really want to go, but they go along for appeasement, and that usually doesn't end well.
Yeah.
So both partners really have to be on the same page to make it work.
Yep.
I love Walter's question. He says, "Can we rent your RV to attend your rally?" LOL. Sorry, Walter. We're going to be in our RV for that.
But Walter, you can stay with them.
that classic
told us at the rally to tell our family members we are selling all and going full time, that our family might say, y'all crazy. And she was right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that can happen.
Yeah.
You get all kinds of different reactions, and it was tough for my parents. You know, I was giving up a really nice, well-paying job with what my father considered was some security, and selling everything and going on the road. And he thought we were crazy for a while until he started telling all of his friends what his crazy son was doing, and they all said, "Oh, I would love to do that."
Yeah.
And in his 70s, 80s, he said, "I wish I could come and do it with you." So,
Yeah. You
And
converted.
how often do we hear that from young people and even older people? And you know, one of the aspects of the RVers is they've got several, I'd call them young because they're younger than John and I, but influencers that are now impacting our industry who are they're doing what a lot of us wanted to do, but we didn't think about doing it till we were 40 or 50. But we got all these influencers out there, like the RV geeks, like the Mortons, like Mark and Julie Bennett, who we had on a couple of weeks ago, who at a young age, because they are socially mobile and they have jobs that they can work anywhere, they're doing the stuff at 26 that a lot of people think they can't do until they're 56 or 66. Right. And that's a dynamic change. And that's an interesting aspect. And I'm sure it factored into Anthony's thinking on that. And he's also an active RV.
There's so much great information. Those younger people are putting out so much content. It's incredible how much information is out there right now.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It can be information overload at some points, and you know, who do you listen to, and who do you take time for, and but there's so much good information and excited people that will, you know, tell you the truth.
And you know what, guys? Another thing that has changed considerably since you guys hit the road is that back then, when people hit the road, they got the biggest unit that they could possibly get, whether it was a 45-foot diesel pusher or a 40-foot gas model, or again, in your case, a 39. We get people now that last time I was at the Winnebago rally out in Iowa, the biggest number of people hitting the road are people's in their 20s and 30s in the small class Bs that don't want to have anything to do with an RV park. They want to go park out in the wilderness. And they got their solar hookup, and they've got their four-wheel drive and their big tires, etc. It's a totally different ball game now. And people probably today wouldn't call you all crazy like our friend from Tennessee said.
And when we used to talk about full-timers, it was usually those people that were getting ready to retire or later in life. But this younger generation that's coming along and these influencers, they're full-timing. They don't ever want to own a home. They don't ever want to be locked down somewhere. Right. They don't want a mortgage.
Bob, we're one of the only shows that I know that our past guests become members of the studio audience. Now, Debbie Hobart says, talk about work camping. Some work campers only get their site free in exchange for the work that they do, but they prefer to get a paycheck as well as a free site. And then she said all of their family thought they were crazy too. But the RV life is great. Now they are kind of jealous.
Right.
Have you had any people tell you, lately that, wish we would have done what you did?
We don't hear that a whole lot, but we've said it all along for all these years. The number one regret of most full-timers is that they didn't start sooner.
Earlier. Yeah. And you guys were really pioneers leaving 25 years before retirement age, traditional retirement age.
Correct.
Yeah. So we had to research that. We had to figure out what that effect would have on Social Security, and our intent all along was that, our approach was that we wouldn't get Social Security by the time we were ready for it anyway. So we didn't worry about that so much. Now it certainly looks like it's going to be around, and we'll benefit from it. But we took the approach that maybe it won't be there, so we have to really watch our numbers.
Mm-hmm. Have you entertained the thought of, because you are so detailed, and I know you've got great notes over the last 15 years, but have you entertained the thought of writing a book or doing a video series?
Sorry, I'm laughing.
Did I read his mind, Linda?
Certainly, we've been thinking about that, and
There's no we, it's you.
right? Yeah, I would be doing the writing. So, sure.
He still thinks he has billable hours, right, Linda?
It takes him so long to write that
Because he's getting paid.
Done.
Because as a lawyer, he was getting paid by the word and the hour.
Yeah.
So he still hasn't gotten that.
It was tough.
Let's get it done a lot quicker so we can move on to something else.
Right.
Talk about that.
He just
Talk
has
about
to
that picture of the bear.
through so much before he puts it down.
Well, that kind of segues into where are we going with RV Dreams, and so we're tossing around a lot of ideas, and we're considering having an updated site and with maybe a little bit different focus, a few more videos, and so you never know. I just wrote today in a blog post that RVing's on our soul, and it's not something that we can just walk away from and shake off.
Well, I think that's true of all of us that love the lifestyle and love talking about it and doing it, and that was one of the reasons why Anthony started his television program. If you ever watch the Aviators series on PBS and Discovery, he's the creator of that series. Also.
Now, interestingly, you've landed at the Villages, which originally was an RV park, right? In its early history.
I don't
manufactured homes.
Manufactured
Yeah.
homes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Talk about life at the Villages. Why it really is. Every day is kind of like Saturday down there, right?
Right. Absolutely. It's just anything that you have any interest in doing, it's here. There are so many hundreds of clubs. There's so much sports and athletics and golf and pickleball, and that's a draw for me, where I can get up in the morning, I can get in the golf cart, and I can be gone all day playing sports. Mm-hmm. And that's something that we just hadn't been able to do as much on the road. Mm-hmm. And I kind of missed playing golf with the guys. There are just a few things like that we gave up that now we have the chance to do again. But we're still young too. So if we get tired of this,
there he goes again. He's young again. That's the fourth or fifth time he's got into this young.
And Linda's laughing,
right?
Only because she doesn't care where Howard goes in the golf cart as long as he's gone all day.
Yeah. Well, I have this thing now that I tell people is we spent 15 years this close together.
Right.
Now I don't care where he goes, and if he comes home for dinner, that's great.
If he doesn't come home at all, that's great too.
We've got our free time now, so he's gone a lot.
As I told you, the hour disappears, but I wanted to grab a couple of quick comments here. Anthony wants to know how many people generally attend the rally. Yeah, maybe he'll come down and do a segment on your rally. He just did our village. So how many people are at the rally?
150 to 200.
Typically 150 to 175. We cap it off at 175.
Yeah, we never wanted it to get too big, so it still stays somewhat intimate and people can get to know each other and get to know more people that become lifelong friends. So we've always cut it off at about that range.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Donna wants to know which village you're in.
Calumet Grove.
In the north side.
Okay. It says, isn't it a requirement to have a golf cart in the Villages?
It is not a requirement.
But everybody has one.
Right.
Your own golf cart road. Right. And you go downtown and you got 200 golf carts. Don't mess with them. And you got the custom. Now, did you customize? Do you have an RV Dreams golf cart?
No.
We bought this little house here, and golf cart came with the house. And we bought the house turnkey because as full timers, we had no furniture, or anything, to furnish with, dishes and silverware and all that stuff. So we just bought one that had all that stuff.
And John wanted to know what this was hanging off the thing. It's something that my granddaughter made out of styrofoam. And every time I attempt to throw it away, my wife finds it and puts it back up. So it'll be back up there again next week.
Walter
That's the most
Swenson
important
says
part
the
of the
spring
show.
rally is only 900 miles away. Think we need to hit the road. So you might wind up with Walter Swenson and some of his friends down there too. You ought to bring Frank along with you, Walter, since he's been eating his way through Florida for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, he's going to have to walk
You know,
home.
they're friends with a motorhome that
Well,
he posts 3 times a day as to where he's eating the restaurants, and he left the rest of us up here in New England. Well, look at, we are a minute over. We really do try to end at 8 o'clock because these people are nice enough to give us an hour of their time every week. John, any closing? We'll let Linda and Howard close it out, but anything you want to
No, I just want to thank them so much. It was so nice to meet them when they were beginning their journey.
Yeah.
The beauty of it is they still have the same radiant smiles on their faces that they had 13 years ago when we met them.
They're still as young as they were 15 years ago.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah.
It's always nice to see that people can do something and then do something else and still have fun.
All right. One thing, Howard and Linda, what we ask is that maybe tomorrow over a cup of coffee, if you not dial back in, but go to the website and look over all the comments, because we never get to all the comments, and there may be some there that you would like to answer personally or provide more information than what you could do in the short sound bites that we gave you tonight. And for our fans out there, we got the Worcester RV show this weekend. We got the Vermont RV show this weekend, and I will be posting all of our dealer open houses and events. So Howard and Linda, would you like to say good night to New England?
Yes, we would. And not to take away from your shows, we're going to be speaking at a show this weekend in Wilmington, Ohio. It's the Cincinnati-Dayton RV show, and we're going to be giving seminars there. So we just wanted to plug that in, and would love to see some of you guys at our rally. It is so much fun. And you think we're goofy on here, we're goofy at the rally, way more goofy at the rally, but have a great time.
Speak for yourself.
You'll want to post that information.
Hey, let Bobby close the show.
Bobby, you want to close the show and say good night to everyone?
Good night.
Good
See you
night.
next week.
Happy RVing.
Happy RVing.
Okay.
And like and subscribe.
Okay.
What'd they say?
Like and describe. I'm not sure what that means.
Like and subscribe.
Huh?
Probably.
Like what?
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Oh, like and
There you go.
subscribe. Okay, thank you very much.
That's right.
Very good.
Yeah.
He can't wait to see himself on YouTube tomorrow. All right,
Okay.
everybody. We will see you next Wednesday night. Thank you very much. Great show, guys.
Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice
Bye-bye.
seeing you guys. Good night.